look at these two. They belong together, and yet their lives couldn't have been any more different. We have, of course, Asna, that is us, a very powerful secular ruler, and soon to be, or at the very least it seems that way, soon to be king of all of Aquitaine. And then on the right, we have somebody that was made into a nun, somebody that was forced into this position by our father, because, well, our father was somewhat obsessed, I think, with making others pay for the sins of our family. And then, also, of course, not just a nun, but our lover, our soulmate, the person that we should have been paired up with to begin with. These two people have had very different lives, and yet, I do suspect that they may very soon converge quite a bit. Again, as I ended last episode, of course, we were looking at Aquitaine actually being something we could now form since our mother had just perished, but I do think, and this was also in the comments, something that I saw, a general attitude, I do think that Prince Asna III has certain priorities, certain things that he wants to take care of before he actually wants to finish the work that his parents, and at the end of the day it was both Catalina and Lope that really tried to push him into this direction. He wants to finish something that they started, but only after he put himself into the right state of mind, because ultimately we are suffering. We are at a pretty bad point in our lives when it comes to the stress level. We have just said, we have just told everybody, we have just confessed that basically we are having an affair. Well, we had an affair anyway, you know, our wife is now dead, so this is still extramarital, but it is not like we are betraying Peronel, she has perished. We have an affair with Fakio, and this is now also public knowledge. Now, what I will do is halfway me using game mechanics in a way that they weren't, you know, meant to be used, but I will nonetheless do it because this is the only thing that will enable me to actually get it done. First things first, I will take a look at my brother, well, the last remaining brother of mine anyway, Lope Catalinas. You don't have anything planned, do you? He definitely wants to join me. He loves the idea of joining me, quite frankly. Homeless Wanderer can be persuaded to stay, indeed. I want him in my court because he will become a landowner in my realm, albeit still very much as a monk. Right, this is because my mother is no longer here. You know what? I will not fill this position for the moment. We have just a couple of steps to do before we can actually move on, at least hopefully. Let's just take a look at my brother returning, and once he is indeed here, we can try something else. Technically speaking, Episcopa Fakio Jacques of Perigon is a criminal. Now, I will not do anything against her, but I will ask her to hand over Perigon, because this will make it so that she is no longer landed, and I can actually marry her. At the very least, you know, according to game mechanics. Of course, in real life, well, I would simply say, hey, my dear Pope, my dear Archbishop, I require you to get rid of this oath. You know, hey, being in a monastery is a quasi-permanent oath, but hey, I am royalty and I should be allowed to bend the rules a little bit. Now, let's hope that she agrees. This will cost me 250 piety. But I hope, there you go, she did indeed agree. I see no choice but to bow to your decision to strip me of the Condado of Perigon. And then I will simply go on and tell her, hey, how about you marry me? And we, all of a sudden, will be married. There she is, Fakio Jacques and Prince Asna III. Now, what I will also do at the same time, and I have to do that via the consul, because you can't actually give somebody a title if they're a monk, so I have to do it via the consul. There straight up is no other way. I will be handing over this county now as a bishopric yet again to my brother, so that he can enjoy life in a bit better fashion than what my father damned him into. Still a monk, but, you know, at least a bit of a landholder. And there he is, Apis Picua Lope Catalinas of Perigon. He is a big fan of ours. Now, he doesn't get the modifiers here because technically I didn't give him that land. I, of course, consuled it to him, but look at him. All of a sudden, he is in a position of genuinely, you know, doing something with his life. I mean, look at this. First, he was a fornicator. Our father was livid. Then he went on to simply become a drunkard. He did not have a good life, and I hope that he can get it together in that new position. Now, all of this aside, we are significantly stressed out, but as soon as we marry, I think that Asna III will be ready to take the next step, and from there on out, I think we might just want to relax a bit. I hope that we get a good court now that we are actually moving towards this. The Mediterranean courts are, of course, the best. There you go, love prevails. Oh, Princess Fakilo, my darling, to think that I can embrace you openly now with the blessing of both Saint Brigida and the people around us. I am the happiest man alive. Come here, wife of mine. There you go. We have married, and Princess Fakio is now properly our wife. I've spent many sleepless nights worrying about my son Piaris and what would happen to him if the truth of his parentage came out. Now that his mother, Princess Fakio, and I are lawfully wedded, my old fears may finally rest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you, obviously, and I will legitimize this child. What I have learned as Asna, what I have learned from my father, or rather I should say from my father's mistakes, is that no child shall be left behind. I will take care of mine, and they must know that they are taken care of. You will receive your piece of the cake, trust me, Piares. At the end of the day, I don't think that I hate any of my other children. Yes, they weren't conceived with a woman that I truly loved, but at the end of the day, they are not to blame for that, right? So that is where Asna draws the line. He won't disinherit anybody else. He won't denounce anybody unless they do something truly despicable, but he most certainly has a very special place in his heart for Piares. Right, the secret will haunt me no longer. This is very good. I, Fakir, gladly accept your hand in marriage. Of course. How are we doing here? We're down to 1 stress level. That is very, very good. And is my child at court now? No, it is not. I need Piares to be here indeed. I will legitimize you immediately. Will cost us at least a little bit of renown. I think that is fine. And all of a sudden, he is a legitimized bastard. Absolutely wonderful. That is how you love to play this. That is how you love to see this. I mean, I wonder what Conde Asna and what his brother Lope have to say about their new brother. Because that is, of course, you know, taking away at least some of the land that they're getting. But it is only just. It is only fair. And speaking of only just and only fair, I'm thinking, you know what, actually, let's become a king, and then we will seek somebody to marry our children to. We are in a bit of a more, I think, internally minded episode now, because we have had so much success in the latest episodes, pushing for glory and pushing for our realm to be stronger and larger, and all of this now kind of comes to this conclusion, and then we can manage our family once again. The Kingdom of Aquitaine, if you have a suggestion, by the way, that isn't the fleur-de-lis. I don't know whether the fleur-de-lis is actually appropriate here. The lion certainly feels like it, but the fleur-de-lis, again, I'm not actually certain. I will found the kingdom now in the name of the Pope, in the name of my family, and there we have it. You are now a mighty Erege. Aquitania has been founded. I love this so much. Now let's take a look at our court. I pray that we got a good court. Oh, we did. Okay, we got a Mediterranean court. It's not the one with the amazing glass window. I may actually like change this around a bit. You know, there's a mod that lets you choose your royal court. I may add that because I love the one with the window. I will also say, by the way, I noticed that when I play with EPE and CFP, my court performance is truly atrocious. Let's see that. Yeah, I see that it's actually even worse when I record it, or rather the recording is worse than the actual performance that I see. I don't like that. That is a bit straining on the eyes. Now, anyway, let's take a look at our court. What are we doing here? We are speaking Euskara. Somebody in the comments suggested, and I completely agree with this. It is an amazing sort of way of dealing with this. We should, if we ever do a hybrid culture, we should probably keep Provençal, because the peasants speak it. The common culture certainly doesn't speak Euskara in, you know, as it is. However, our court should continue to speak Euskara until the end of all days. I really like that idea, because that is indeed keeping our traditions. We are a diplomatic court, which is way overpowered in this patch. Who knows for how long that will last, but we are a diplomatic court. I'm not against it. It is pretty good, and we're going to go ahead. Let's take a look at this. So I don't want to flex. We can do this super easily. I'll be honest with you. Look at this. The price is barely anything, and we could be at level 7. I'll be honest with you, though, I think that is just a bit gimmicky, a bit gamey. I don't like it. So what we're gonna do is, I do think we are fairly fashion-minded. I do think we are actually quite food-minded. If you remember, then you will, you know, recall that we have had those berries and so on. There was a lot of stuff going on when it comes to food for our character. Not that we are too eager to eat, but we're somebody that does value it. When it comes to lodgings, honestly, I'm gonna go with small lodgings, and then servants, I will just go with a few servants. I don't think we need to be much higher than that. I think we are perfectly fine on that front, and that will be applied. Again, I try to not go too high just because it would make the game significantly too easy. Now, when it comes to relics, we don't really have much to offer. The Vasconia Dynasty banner, of course, looks very nice behind us. You know what, I would actually like to take a look who's in our court here. Elisabeth Lopez de Béat, we have Berengère d'Astarac. Who are you? I don't think I know. Yeah, you're just a guest. Then we have Primas Vladislav of Aquitania. Of course he is here, and of course he thinks that he deserves being here. I mean, what can you do? Anse Arnotes, right, and Ladron. I know Anse, of course. It's the absolute legend. Then over here we have Diego de la Rioja. I love that. Our bodyguard is, of course, on our side. And Herbert Carling is actually also one of our knights now, meaning that his marriage with Ansa Anses is really paying off for everybody involved. And then over here we actually have Prince Piares Fakirs of Aquitania. I absolutely love that. You know what? Let me just look at them kids. Them kids are gonna be alright. I can already tell. They're having a good time, and my son, it seems, isn't being excluded. Now, that is what you love to see. You know what? Is there actually a way to be able to hover over my... Oh yeah, totally. I just need to get the angle right. Who are these 3 children? Are they all of my children? You are Margarita Aznares Eniga. You are not my child. You're simply a guest. Then we have Munya Aznares. She is my daughter, and she seems to be getting along with Piares. Okay, I'm a big fan. Let's keep that in mind. Munya and Piares are quite alright with one another, it seems. That, at the very least, is good news for me as a father. We are now Aquitania. Toulouse will most certainly not want to join us. They are very, very angry. We have to consider what to do here. I could, of course, try to declare a war, but their realm is gigantic, meaning it would need a lot of prestige or me losing a level of fame, and I don't think I'm willing to do that. I could try to offer her vassalage, especially as a diplomatic court. That shouldn't be too difficult if she liked me. So once we are through with learning the languages here, and I just jerked the camera around there, once we're through with that, I think we will try to just vassalize Toulouse. Maybe we can come to a peaceful arrangement. It would be beneficial because I don't really want to break Toulouse's power. I like Toulouse the way they are. I like them, you know, as the frontier area here against the Muslims, so I definitely don't want to just challenge them. Now, with all of this out of the way, again, today is a very internally minded episode. I will go ahead and actually dish out my duchy titles. First, Auvergne. I will give it to him. Thomas Géraud, I really like the guy, apparently. He's trusting, likable. Yeah, okay, you're a great guy. You speak Romance and Provençal. Maybe he can connect us a bit to the French anyway. That could be a pretty decent connection right there. For the moment, I will simply grant you the title of Auvergne. You're not the person that I took it from, meaning that you will not try to come for my guts. He still dislikes me somewhat, but we can put him on the council later. It doesn't really matter that much. What I will also do, and I will have to do this via the consul, I will make Apis Pecua Lope Catalinus of Perigord into the Duke of this region, which should be Aquitaine, right? Yeah, Aquitania. He can rule over this. I don't think I need to have my personal belongings in this region. Then again, we actually... You know, it's interesting. We do have 2... What is the de jure capital? It's Bordeaux. Of course, it's Bordeaux, right? I don't think we have had too much influence here. The territory that we hold here primarily stems from the concept of, you know, us conquering these regions. It doesn't come from the concept of us administering them. I kind of would like being back in Bertrand de Comminges just because it belongs to our family, but it is not a great county. We could also be in Agenais or La Brie. La Brie is one of the more built-up counties for sure, and it is also, of course, the actual capital duchy here, although we like Bordeaux. We have nothing against Bordeaux. I'm not sure where our future capital is going to be, quite frankly. I'm feeling, because we have been very influential in Carcassonne, I'm feeling like we might just want to try and amass some land here. This could also create some conflicts with the local rulers, because Languedoc, of course, is under the control of, you know, the Duke of, or the Duchess of Toulouse, and with that, the vassals in Foix, in Alibi, in Montpellier, and so on. I think we're going to stay in that region. Either way, I'm going to give my brother that title real quick. There you have it. Lope II is now the Duke of this region. I'm going to give you at least some vassals. Yeah, I think I will hold on to these titles yet, because, of course, this is primarily a theocratic vassaldom right here. I can keep them the way they are. I don't need to give you this title. My son, Prince Azna Aznares. I do believe that you probably already have a claim on this anyway, right? Let me check this. You have a claim on the Duchy of Poitou. That makes a lot of sense. I will simply hand it to you. There's nothing wrong with you having Poitou to begin with, because, again, I don't necessarily need to keep that. Now, what do we do with Lusignan? I think I'm just going to move you. You're my nephew. I think I'm just going to move you underneath Azna. I don't see why not, right? I don't really see why I wouldn't do it. It does rightfully belong to him. Yes, there are other, you know, held titles here, but I don't think that matters too much. Now, Armagnac, I will also give away, and I think... we could give it to Bordeaux. He is holding Armagnac itself. And we do have a fairly okay relationship with him. Do I trust any of these fellas more? Oh, I mean, most certainly. The Billard family are more important than just our friendship with Bordeaux, because they are genuinely a part of our family. You know what? Conde Piares Lopez, I will hereby give you Armagnac. I will keep Comminges, however. Come knock at my door if you're mad enough. If you want that back, you can petition me for that. And I think, yep, indeed, that puts me underneath the threshold. Now, how do you feel about me? Right, okay, let's just put some people on the council here, and I think then we are good to go. Our wife, of course, is no longer on the council. She is now directly one that supports us here. I think assisting the ruler in general could be good, although I would like it if we could manage my domain better. I know that this doesn't actually... No, you know what? Court politics is actually perfect. I do need support in court politics. That is just spot on. I don't even need to think about this. All of these places make a lot of sense being filled the way they are. Yeah, I don't really have anything against this. She's not amazing. Contessa Adelheid here is not outstanding at this, but I will leave her in that position. And I think that leaves us with holding court. Let's do it. Let's listen to what our vassals have to say. For the first time now, we are looking at this mechanic from this point of view in this playthrough. It's been a while. It really has been. In order to be a successful ruler, I must actually rule in the various dilemmas and situations which arise within my sphere of influence. By officially inviting all of my subjects to travel my castle and petition me for aid, I will be able to stay informed, sway the balance of power, and visibly show the world that I am in charge. This will increase my court grandeur, cost me some prestige, but that will be fine. Let's get this bread. Alright, let's go with the commencement here. Sitting on my throne, I gesture for my guards to open the doors of the hall. A stream of people file in, some lining up in front of my throne, while others move out of the way so they can simply observe the proceedings. You know, holding court was absolutely vital, and needing to be there was something, for example, in the Holy Roman Empire wasn't always a given that they had to attend the court days, but once it became a given, it would be treason not to attend. This is also why I was so very insulted, basically, when we, as the other character, right, went up to Paris without the actual duty to show up, and we were insulted. It's a big thing, and I will definitely refrain from insulting people unless that is in character, because that is a much harder thing to do than how it is depicted in the game. After several moments, all movement in the chamber is ceased, all faces turn towards mine expectantly. In front of me, I can count 3 petitioners lined up in an orderly row, waiting for me to call on them. Right, gesture for the first line to approach. Let's do this. My king, we have to tell you that rumors of the behavior of Erigina Fakio reached the ears of the people. It is unacceptable that the wife of our ruler has morally degraded themselves. We demand you address this issue. I see. So basically this is the game saying, hey, wait a minute. So first of all, they didn't even have a petitioner for this. It's a bit bugged out, it seems, but they're basically saying she cheated, but she cheated with me, okay? I'm sure if you've looked at this another way, right? So I will definitely fail with this. I could also say, leave this be, or perhaps you'd back these words up with steel. Ooh, I kind of like this. Must do penance for their sins. She will not be doing penance. Forget about it. It will not happen. Unworthy ruler for 5 years. You know what? I think this is appropriate. This modifier, so this event is clearly bugged, but this modifier basically says people do look at me and say, wait a minute, but courtship Romans, you had a bastard and she was a nun? This is really screwed up. People would probably see me this way. So having this modifier for 5 years sounds absolutely fair. Let's get this. My lord, this is outrageous. An agitated Comte de Gilles stands before my throne. Aren't you 9 years old? The body of my poor grandmother, mother, the recently deceased Contessa Catalina, has been violated by that fiend you keep as your court physician, Anso. What did you do, Anso? The vile monster is tempered with a corpse, using it to practice his obscure knowledge and leaving it disfigured and defaced. Please, he can't go unpunished. Of course, Anso looks appropriately offended by the accusations. I have no idea what that man, well, what that child is talking about, my lord. So basically, a child, in a bit of a very eloquent way, but the child is coming to me and saying, your mother and my grandmother has been mistreated. Her corpse has been mistreated by Ansa Arnotes, and I mean, if you believe it about anybody, then it would probably be the hideous drunkard court physician. Who's telling the truth, right? So what? Or sacrilegious. Guards, arrest Anso. You know what? I think I would like to try to find out the truth, but then again, I am a very trusting person. If this child, and children do not lie, if this child comes up to me and says, I saw what he did, I would probably say sacrilegious. Guards, arrest Anso. It will cost me 200 prestige. I will gain 100 piety. I will gain opinion of Gil, and Anso will lose opinion, or I lose opinion of Anso. I gain a huge stress break. Oh my god. So basically, I guess, who's telling the truth is the appropriate response here from a just point of view according to the event. That makes me think. Anso Arnotes, would he do it? He's an honest man. You know what? The fact that he's an honest man and that he is compassionate, I will try to see through the facade of ugliness and being a drunkard, and I will try to find out who is really telling the truth here. If I find out that he did it, right? So I could lose court grandeur here, of course. If I find out that Anso is lying, he will be dismissed, but not be imprisoned. You can't find out who's lying. Oh my god. Alright, so that is a very, very inefficient judge right here that we are. My primas, Vladislav, hurries to my side, his bloodshot eyes searching the assembled court. My lord, I am sure someone in the Eresuma is out to get me. I have no evidence, but suspect Comtessa Adelheid. She has always positioned herself as my enemy. I beg you, imprison Adelheid and put a stop to this madness. I will question her, I think. If she's caught in a lie, I will imprison her. Yeah, I mean, that just sounds like the just thing to do. Just, you know, overreacting here doesn't sound right, and just saying, nah, I don't believe you is also not what we would do. We're a just person. Let's see whether Adelheid did anything. She denied any involvement, and I spent even more prestige. My god. As the last petitioner departs, various courtiers follow them out of the room, having business to attend elsewhere. Others remain, talking amongst themselves about the recent proceedings. Soon the ceremonial formality of the proceedings has dropped away entirely, with the hum and bustle of normal courtly life taking its place. My business here is done. So just to clarify this, by the way, what I will be doing is, I want to never be above 2 or 3 levels of grandeur. For the moment, we'll be over 2 levels roughly, close to 2 anyway. 3 would still be acceptable, but it would be out of character. I don't think we're willing to do that either way. I'll be honest with you, for a first court position, or well, first court holding, this was a complete disaster. Let's not lie to ourselves. This was a genuine disaster, and I do need to repair you. Yeah, that's a lot of money to repair that, but we will do it in time. I am first to inherit some titles. Don't worry about it too much. I don't want to read these. I will not imprison my wife. Quite the opposite, actually. I would like to give her a pardon. I will indeed give you a pardon. Maybe that would have even saved me from that event, but it doesn't really matter now, does it? And disabled buildings in Argent. I think this will go away. Right, yes, we were over the domain limit, and that should no longer be the case. Alright, so we are now a kingdom. We had, honestly, a bit of a disastrous holding court event. Being a ruler isn't really something that we are accustomed to yet. We haven't really had to deal with this stuff. This was always done on a smaller scale, on a more local scale. But now that we have established ourselves as the king, people, of course, do expect a bit more. You know what? She's French. I do not speak French, and I am not learning French. And she's speaking Hochdeutsch. Are you kidding me? You didn't learn Occitan or something? I think I would like to gift her, and this could be seen as a bit of an insult, but I would like to gift her the Worn Language Manual. It's a really good item, don't get me wrong here, but if I were to gift it to her, surely she would dislike me less, and she could see it as a sign of me saying, hey, if you learned my language, we could actually be friends, and you could be one of my vassals. Together we stand, and disunited we fall, of course. Do I want an alliance with any of these folks? I don't think so. I don't see the reason to do that, so I'm gonna ignore them. Okay, let's hurry onwards, and let's see what we can do. I greatly dislike that that child said that my court physician did something to my mother. Apparently that was a lie, but even then, I mean, I couldn't figure it out, I think. So maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Definitely keeps my guard up. And we have an event, the Unknown Erreger. Oh, and you will never believe what happened next. My guest Berengere won't stop talking about herself and all the things that have happened to her. In addition to her endless prattling, I'm at unease with a stranger speaking so informally to me. I try to excuse myself from the guest by telling her I have other matters and people to attend to, but she interrupts me asking what job I have, or if I'm here to dress like the Erreger for a day like every other guest. Dumbfounded, I manage to respond, I am the Erreger. The blood drains from her face, and she begins to stutter. My most sincerest apologies, my lord. I promise I'm not here to simply leech off your fortunes and to surround myself with the most fashionable people of the realm. I swear. It's just that your court's reputation is more talked about than your appearance, my lord. I could make an example out of you, but that would just be unfair. I could spread the word that I'm an accommodating host. I could have mandatory tests for guests that they must pass to stay here. That is honestly kind of funny. Mandatory tests. I actually don't mind everyone not knowing who I am. I mean, the people that do know who I am feel somewhat disrespectful, right? Because they know what I did with my wife, that I removed her from the service to the church. I think we're fine with being at least a little bit unknown. I will definitely go with that event right there. How is the language learning proceeding? Our chances of actually learning either of these aren't exactly high. That is very discomforting. I have the worry here that neither of those will actually succeed. My god, that sounds like something that I've experienced 1,000 times in this playthrough already. It really does. Now, Adelheid is a vassal of ours that seems to be quite alright. I was thinking initially maybe I should give her to Auvergne. But honestly, I got nothing against her per se, and wow, we actually did it. We learned the language, Romance, so we learned the language of the Iberians down there. Very, very cool. I feel accomplished, I absolutely do. During my efforts, I looked to emulate Rey Adelfonso's accent. I'm sure that he would be impressed with my results. You know what, perhaps I should send a letter. Absolutely, and he was impressed. I wish we could become friends. Quite frankly, Adelfonso, I wish we could become friends. Now, let's focus on something more important, and that is swaying her. We need to sway her so that she can join our realm. I could buy an artifact claim. None of this matters. Daughter learns language. Very, very good. And, oh, and right, you are 15. I wanted to marry you off. Let's take a look here. Edelink, Hard Knight of Bavaria. He is 26. That's not that old. He does have a claim on all of Bavaria. Quite decent indeed. I don't think I will send her to the Slavs. That is significantly too far for my liking. If I could, I wouldn't be... I see. You already have a betrothal, and that is an interesting one. Chester. Really? To a house that is long gone, it seems, when it comes to... For you, yeah, wow, they lost all of their titles. I assume that they wanted to marry into England, maybe to protect them from the Norse, or maybe to request protection against Bretangeland and Flomdera, but it doesn't seem like we can get an alliance going there on our end. What about you? Althling Onlaf Ethelsigson. If we do get a marriage here, we could have a situation where we could go together against Brittany. I certainly wouldn't be against that. This is a marriage that you do accept. He is sterile, isn't he? And that is something that has manifested itself. He may be quick, but this one isn't certain yet. This one is certain. So you know what? That is definitely somebody where we don't want a marriage. Now you do have a bunch of siblings. They're all already married though, yeah. I would have liked a marriage with Navarra for sure. What about you? This should work, right? If we marriage into your family here, and we can do this with our younger daughter, then we will have a strong connection, a very good connection towards Asturias, putting us firmly into a position of north and south of the Pyrenees influence, which we previously didn't have at all. Okay, so this was our 8-year-old. Then we have Catalina here, still very much unmarried. I do like the suggestion with Bavaria, but I'm also looking at this. Could we potentially... You're already 20, I assume you're married. Indeed you are. I don't think any of these are a good idea. Lotharingia isn't too far away, and Roi Robert... Roi Robert, now that is an intriguing thought. Would you be willing to take this to do this marriage? Indeed you are. Obviously not matrilineally, but this is a strong alliance, and it could safeguard us from France. I do like this one as well. So now we have Asturias, we have Lotharingia, and then we have our firstborn here, Prince Lope. With him, of course, I would like a very, very strong alliance. You know what? Toulouse is married to Italy. And to sort of counteract that, I would also like an alliance with Roi Louis III. I know that there will probably be inheritance issues once we actually have them die, and meaning that their children inherit, right? But we can address that later. That's a problem for not me. That's a problem for later me. And wow, you're already married off. What about you? You are not promised to anybody. What about my firstborn? Indeed, there you go. So she is a bossy, zealous, and just character, Princess Giselle. She is French. I like that. That is an amazing marriage as well. And then the last one that we are going to be doing, for the moment at the very least, I think would be you. Maybe I can actually find somebody in France that would make sense. What do you think about this? That's a great connection. I think... we have safeguarded us here. I think Aquitania has arrived within the center of Christian power, and we will have allies in Italy, Lotharingia, France, and Asturias. Wow. God damn. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. It also means that Roi Jacques quite directly says he will not be pushing his claim for our kingdom. I am very, very happy to see it. And look at that. There are all of the alliances. And immediately you call me in. What is this? Against the tyranny. Right. This is, of course, a very important war, my friend, against, let me see, one province. Right. I gladly accept your betrothal proposition. Your daughter Catalina and I will be the best couple ever. Alright, Roi Robert II. Now what I will do, I will obviously support Italy. We will make sure that we are on friendly terms while I try to get his wife to join my realm. That is a big topic, that is a very important topic. We are scheming this, aren't we? Indeed we are. Let's raise our troops and let's make things happen here. Ooh, and I've just been told by my Chambellan, so by my spy master, that somebody's trying to kill Vladislav. I mean, I can't really say that that is something that surprises me. Vladislav is one of the odd characters, yet again, and he is not nearly as influential as Kvalimir was, so yeah, I mean, he is a direct target for many, I reckon. But we will see whether something is up with that. I could try, you know what, could I try to find some secrets in my own court? Apparently not. If any secrets exist at court, 0% chance of learning it. I would like to find out about that. I absolutely need to find out about that, but for the moment, we are more diplomat than ever. We have finished this focus tree, and see, I was thinking, I do like a family hierarch. I really do like that. But I'm also, you know what, no, actually, I absolutely love family hierarchy. Thinking about, we already are in the family focus, of course, but we have focused more on diplomacy. I think this goes directly into one another, because half of our realm is family, and the other half could be family. So I'm just going to keep that. We are losing a lot of money in this war, but I will be aiding Italy wherever I can. Yeah, I think that we will focus on our family going forward. We have, of course, legitimized our son here. Now, I might change this. Our mother definitely wanted us to change this into high partition. And I can still give out fair titles to my secondary heirs, right? So maybe I will be changing it. You have come of age. Very good. You're 16 and you have become an insightful thinker. Not amazing, but quite frankly, diligent, content, trusting. You are a pretty good person. And then we have Lope Aznares. And Lope, if you allow me to click on him, is a fortune builder. That is quite good. That is quite good. He has made 2 friends, Anso and Princess Catalina Aznares. See, that is actually really good news, because Catalina, if I'm not mistaken, no, it was Munia. Munia was standing in the court with my bastard son. Now that you have grown up, though, what that means is I can educate my son here. How old are you? 6 years of age. You know what? I think we might just go... I will roll for you. Let's see what you can get. I rolled a 4 for him, so 1, 2, 3, 4. He will be somebody studying learning. I actually like this idea, because he comes from a background where he needs to understand the implications of his very existence in the Christian worldview. Who's your guardian here? Oh, yeah, okay, Fakir. That sounds perfectly fine. What about my other children? Munia, I will take care of you. Oh, you already have a guardian? Right, we gave you Yimeno. I will remove this guardian. I will take care of you personally now, because I am all of a sudden much, much freer than I was before. What else do we have here? I can educate you. You're done. Azna the second, Aznares. I will offer you to educate you, okay? I will offer to say I, your father, will take care of you. Look at that. Lope has turned out quite well as well. Wow. And we actually managed to learn both of these languages. And all of a sudden, I can't even learn French anymore without going over my maximum limit. But either way, during my efforts, I looked to emulate Pontifex Maximus Urbanus' accent. I'm sure that he would be impressed with my results. Perhaps I should send a letter in vernacular to Urbanus. Absolutely. And look at that. He loved it. That is what I like to see. This leaves us barely unable to learn languages. I mean, we still can, but it makes it so that, of course, we're looking at a bit of a tougher time to actually keep them. Wait a minute. Shouldn't I be able to do it? Oh, right, I'm already scheming against her. I would like to do it with both of them, but of course that is not possible. Can I ask the Pope to help me here with the money? It really doesn't seem that way, does it? Alright, let's just keep sieging. This is bankrupting me. I will never financially recover from this. Asking him for gold. Right, I'm in the negative in terms of piety, it seems. That is indeed not very, very good. Oh, and you know what? Just to finish off this episode, we can actually unlock another Dynasty Legacy. And I'll be honest with you, we will go with Close Bonds. Close Family Opinion plus 10, Dynasty Opinion plus 5, and Personal Scheme Success Chance plus 30% against Dynasty members. Good thing our family is absolutely massive. Close Bonds, 100% get it. And then the next one will be Graceful Aging. No prowess loss from age, yes, and increased skills with age. We will be an absolute monster of a dynasty. But this is it for now. Let's see whether we can get Toulouse under control. I do want to manage our realm even further. I want to make sure that everybody in it is happy and actually recognizes me as their king. We are now embedded in the greatest security network of our time. Allied to Lotharingia, France, to, well, Bordeaux, to Italy, and to Asturias. So, basically, to everybody that actually matters. I love it, and I hope that our reign may be long and fruitful. Now that we have Regina Fakir on our side, nothing could go wrong, right? For the moment, I will see you later, alligator.